as the sparks flew in the courtroom in Nevada, Keefe D calls the attorneys ugly, and the judge gives Keefe D a 1-week deadline to prove that Cash Jones, aka Whack 100, is not a middleman. Oh, let's get into some of this straight game.
Life is like those cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy DELRAY, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Click on the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, sparks flew in the courtroom in Las Vegas involving the murder trial of Tupac Shakur. And the judge has came back with her decision. Basically, she's saying that Keefe D and his attorney have 1 week to prove and show the basic foundation of the bail money. As I said before, Keefe D went on a jailhouse visit with his wife and basically was talking about, in which that visit was recorded, in which prosecutors in the first bail hearing played that in court. And basically, Keefe D said that Whack 100 was a middleman. Cash Jones, Whack 100, was a middleman, which I think if this bag is ultimately fumbled, I think Keefe D would be responsible for that also, from that perspective. Now, what the judge is basically looking for, and I think what could really clear this up, the thing to clear this up is the person who evidently that gave Whack 100 the money, if you will, for whatever reason, if they came forward and showed that, hey, you know what, it's me, I X, Y, and Z, the reason and the for the payment and so on and so forth, I think that would be satisfying to the judge. On the other hand, once again, it's not Whack 100's fault. It's Keefe D's fault, because Keefe D did a whole bunch of talking, right? From that perspective, as far as the bail money, I think where they tried to prove that Whack 100 was inconsistent was the fact that they had asked him a question in regards was there any plans in the working for any kind of movie, film deal, or anything other than that, and he basically stated, from what I understand, the prosecution said no, and then they played tapes from Clubhouse as well as Vlad TV. And so once again, the prosecution basically said that Whack 100 he felt like he had perjured himself when asked that question yesterday in the live court appearance. But more importantly than that, Keefe D went on a rant. And there's a few things that I want to point out that he had said that I didn't agree with. I was like, one of the things is that Keefe D said that Greg Kading broke the Proffer agreement. And you see, when you speak out of turn, sometimes you can help yourself, but most of the times you're going to hurt yourself. And so when Keefe D said that Greg Kading broke the Proffer agreement, right? Greg Kading didn't have a Proffer agreement. Keefe D had a Proffer agreement. And the Proffer agreement was not with Greg Kading and Keefe D. It was with the United States government. And the United States government has yet to break the Proffer agreement. The only person that broke the Proffer agreement was Keefe D himself. And it seems just like this is a common theme, like, blame somebody else. No, it was their fault. It was his fault. Even so much so that Keefe D has basically implicated his nephew, which is sad to say. So when we talk about that, when we talk about, the facts, not what people want to hear, not what they want to believe, but the mere facts of this situation. Basically, Judge Carly Kearney basically said the judge, she wanted to lay to rest the courtroom's concern that music executive Cash Whack 100 was acting as a front or middleman for some other entity or person. And so I think that was what the prosecution had raised, was that Whack 100, his story was inconsistent when put to the test and asked certain questions from that perspective. And then they also said that even after the last bail hearing, I believe they said that Whack 100 went and did another interview and kind of doubled down and said, something similar to that. So to me, there's too much talking in regards to what's going to be in the business that's going to happen and so on and so forth. I just think that that's a little bit too much. Wait until everything, pans out. I think it will be easier. And like I said, the judge is not trying to deny Keefe D's bail. She just wants to make sure that, that if, say a family member put up the house or something like that, the wanting to return to court and having that guaranteed return to the court, you don't want your family member to lose the house. But having someone like Whack 100 or any other entity come up and, pay the bail, she was basically said there's no real commitment that Keefe D wouldn't try to run or return back to court from that perspective. And then that's when it got interesting, because Keefe D lawyer then turns around and says, well, he would return because that's part of the show. What show? Right? And then the judge basically comes in and she lays it into Keefe D's lawyer. Basically, the judge accused Keefe D's lawyer of shaping media attention about the case involving one of hip-hop's music's most enduring mysteries, the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, how is it that Keefe D's lawyer on one hand is going to try to say that he wasn't there, he wasn't in Las Vegas, he doesn't know anything about this case on one hand, in trying to prove his innocence, but on the other hand, he's saying he's trying to shape the media into some kind of spectacle and where cameras can follow him around and trying to defend the case about Tupac's murder, and also talking about doing a reality TV show. If his client is innocent, we don't have no show to do. The only thing we have to do is prove that my client is innocent. But since there is this thing about the case involving Tupac Shakur, Keefe D's lawyer, in which, I think he is right, and as far as the Supreme Court case that he presented to the judge, Keefe D can profit off of the case until he's convicted. He has not been convicted yet. That's why I said that Keefe D lawyer made up great arguments. But the judge felt differently about that, and she felt like the lawyer was basically trying to publicize this case involving the murder of Tupac Shakur based on Tupac Shakur, who was a rap superstar at the time of his death, right? So basically the judge said she accused him of shaping media attention about the case involving one of hip-hop's most enduring mysteries, right? And basically Keefe D's lawyer was like, no, that's not my end goal here, Your Honor. Honor responded, my goal is to win the trial. If they want to follow me with cameras, they can do that, right? So he's, and I think Keefe D, in all fairness, Keefe D's lawyer, he's trying to not only secure his legacy, as he said, right? Arnold recently was featured in the British tabloid that said he was fielding offers for a film crew to follow him working on Davis's behalf. The article quoted Arnold calling Shakur's death a legacy case, a legal legacy case, and invoking the memory of Johnny Cochran, a defense attorney for O.J. Simpson, during his 1995 trial, in Los Angeles. Cochran, who died in 2005, was famously credited with jurors for showing jurors after O.J. put on the glove, basically that key phrase, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, right? And so, yeah, I think Keefe D, and that's what I told you guys. I don't know if this case was about Keefe D getting off or being properly defended by his attorney, or more about Carl Arnold trying to get publicity for himself, as well as his legacy as an attorney in fighting this case, since it's such a high profile case. But anyway, the judge has given Keefe D and his lawyer 1 week to prove where the funds came from, where they originally came from, and to make sure, like I said, until she's satisfied at the fact that WAC 100 is not a middleman and, can actually be responsible for Keefe D's return to court, and Keefe D would act in such a manner and where he would show the court that he can be trusted to be let out on bail, even though he's going to be on house arrest. But this is where it, like I said, where it got interesting for me was when Keefe D lashed out at Greg Kading. Once again, there was a box, the boxes of information. Keefe D basically said that, the boxes was up in Greg Kading's attic for the last 15 years, and that Greg Kading broke the proffer agreement, talking about Greg Kading's prior work as a police officer, in which he was involved with a case that involved some kind of federal rebuking from a judge. But more importantly, I think that, Keefe D saying that Greg Kading broke the proffer agreement is so inaccurate, when the fact of the matter is Keefe D himself broke the proffer agreement. Keefe D was good. We never knew anything about it until Murder Rap. Then once Murder Rap came out, I think Keefe D got angry and was like, well, if he can talk about it, I could talk about it. No, he couldn't. And see, that's the thing. You seen yesterday what Keefe D was so mad about. Keefe D was mad about the fact that he thought, once again, uninformed, he thought that Greg Kading broke the proffer agreement by talking about and doing Murder Rap and writing a book. Once again, Greg Kading had no proffer agreement. The only person that was protected under a proffer agreement was Keefe D. So if he fell for that and then he thought, well, Greg Kading talk, I can write my own book too. No, you can't. And no, you couldn't. But he did. He felt like, well, if Greg Kading going out and doing interviews, I could do interviews too. No, you can't. No, you couldn't. Because once again, Keefe D didn't understand the full scope of what a proffer agreement really was. And Keefe D really, truly, honestly thought that he had immunity. This is unprecedented. The way this is going, this is unprecedented, if you will. And so, then Keefe D proceeds to call the prosecution and the prosecutors ugly, and this is all against his attorney's wishes to speak in court, as well as the judge who told Keefe D, hey, you might want to speak through your attorney and not say anything in court from that perspective. But Keefe D chose to rant on. He chose to keep on going. And so, like I said, the bottom line is, we have 1 week to decide whether Keefe D is gonna make bail. I mean, I think the thing that would satisfy the judge is the person who actually, from what she understands, why WAC 100 the money. They say it's AG Entertainment. I think AG Entertainment, if they were the ones that forwarded the money, I think the people from AG Entertainment should just come up and be like, yeah, we sent it. This is our business. This is what we do. And yes, we have a business with WAC 100 and everything's cool. I think that would satisfy the judge from that perspective. And so we're going to see what happens, because like I said, I don't think just with all of the conversation and the things that have been happening around, WAC 100 doing interviews, WAC 100 saying that, hey, that sometimes they're being dishonest on Vlad. And then he's like, well, on Clubhouse, you got to feed the beast. The judge, I think she went back and looked at that. I think the prosecutors pointed that out to her, and she went back and looked at that. So you got to watch what you're saying, because they're looking and watching everything. If you want the situation to work, for in a business manner for your favor and to the best of the situation overall. Like I say, I understand business separated from pleasure, but like I said, one cannot be reckless in their conversation in regards to a high-profile murder case involving Tupac Shakur and trying to bail out the man that is alleged to have something to do with that murder. I think there's a little bit more respect and closed mouth from that perspective, and just waiting to the situation to pan out, from that perspective. But like I said, the judge said, she's gonna give him a week to prove, hey, where the funds came from, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, once again, your boy DELRAY, straight game.